The treatment is all the means at our disposal to allow the pigeons to recover health. To keep it in this video, we will see in more detail the techniques of treatment in pigeons. The treatment techniques are numerous. It is inspired by all particular aspects of the problem. They are as simple, as effective, and as inexpensive as possible. Of course, these considerations do not always go together. Some very effective in stinging, i.e. requiring the hard work of catching all the pigeons. Totally worthless when you put them in drinking water, such as some antibiotics. This is the case with vaccines most of the time, so we will have to reconcile as much as possible effectiveness and ease of treatment. Before starting a treatment, it is first necessary to see who we are going to treat. It is essential in almost all cases except in parasitism by the tapeworms and other rare parasites to treat the entire colony, if not the untreated ones of the real reservoir of the disease. Recountamine cures them in the shortest possible time. Everything will be at start again, but before you have to review the different values of very thin pigeon, very marked by disease. An ordinary, a mediocre, does not deserve the care and the expenditure of money and work that it represents. Therefore, a good triage is advisable before any treatment of the others will only be better off, and the bullish fancier. It has become classic to treat these pigeons. That goes from successful cleaning caution treatment before breeding or sports season against the most common diseases, trichomoniasis, coccidiosis, and green, to specific treatment against the disease diagnosed through the blind treatment decided by the amateur in the pigeons of the problems, apart from any medical and scientific diagnosis by the man of the art, possibly assisted by the laboratory of analyzed. In your opinion, what are the methods of treatment? There are three types of treatment: by the beak, by figurative, by local. Treatment by the beak, in fact, it is about the digestive tract. The products are either dissolved in the water of drink, is presented in the form of tablets or dragees. If they are able to cross intestine, it gains blood circulation and can then reach most parts of the body. The nasal cavities, the joints, are, however, difficult to reach effectively by this route at normal concentrations. Otherwise, these products can only disinfect the device. Digestive, and in particular the intestine. The individual treatment by the beak is a sure way, provided that the pigeon does not reject the tablets or dragees, and it is known with what extreme ease the pigeon vomits. That's how they force feed these youngsters. It's a big job too, because it is always necessary to repeat this administration several days in a row. It is, however, a means local intervention, much faster and much better than with the tastes, all the powders and Tim Hughes and of old. The coryza, it is in 48 hours at 2 bites, much better than at the tenacious end. To Leo eye drops, its medicinal forms therefore tries to be used more than as a preventive measure, or in addition to a general treatment. It is necessary to ensure that the pigeon will keep the medicinal product in contact with the sick part for as long as possible. It is also necessary, for example, avoid putting nose drops just before a meal, after which the pigeon will go. See, therefore, Livera are born with drinking water. This aspect of the matter highlights the precautions always useful during a treatment if we want it to be effective. Reflection and good meaning, as always, this is how most dragees and compresses will need to be administered to young just before the distribution of 4 or 5 seeds, which will facilitate the work of the crop towards the succinct ventricle. Likewise, stings will always ridge at or after a very slight meals. More important still are the conditions for the treatment of communicable diseases by the OFS, such as the Charette typhages. It is quite obvious that it is essential to treat then that there are no hyalinds in the infected colonies. A high proportion of these eggs contains the microbe that we want to eliminate in the incubating egg. This microbe will be out of reaching any treatment if a certain number of youngsters will be nipped in the bud Elo Flor 6 around the 12th or the 14th day and will no longer be dangerous. Others will resist and come world. Carrying the microbe will eliminate them in abundance through their droppings and will therefore be contagious. Part of these young people will die around the 10th or 12th day suddenly, but others resist euros again and will constitute what are called eminently dangerous healthy carriers since they have all appearances of good health. The treatment of these diseases exif so first. The cessation of all reproduction. Certain drugs, what are called secondary actions, that is to say that apart from the antimicrobial or antiparasitic or other properties for which they are used, it has other less important properties. That it is good to know this is how that the new anti-trichomonas that are administered in drinking water are endowed with an anti-thyroid more or less pronounced. This explains the beneficial effect on being overweight, on the fall of the down of its products, but also the phenomena of inebriation drunkenness which appear when the doses are exaggerated or the treatment is aimed at pigeons affected at the same time of a disease in the leg localized to the nerve center like salmonella on the part. If to the anti-trichomoniasis treatment will be done rather during the convent age, he will not have then no harmful effect on the youngsters, will however avoid the contamination of the youngsters. From birth, what we seek is the maintenance of good health under the conditions life of our pigeons, whether or not they experienced health avatars before the season. That is called treatment reminders. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for not miss any new videos.